Hi, namaste. Good evening. Welcome to yet another session under Ayurveda's, the science of dosha balance. AMA session. Ask me anything session. This happens every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Indian Standard Time. Okay, and I talk about a topic, and then it's open for questions. People can ask any question, and then I'll try to answer to the best of my capability. Okay, so today, so this is again yet another topic today. Let's slowly start. So this Ask Me Anything weekly sessions, 9 p.m. Indian Standard Time every Tuesday. Good evening. Good evening. So today we are going to talk about, in brief, about summer regimen. Okay, there are 6 seasons as per Ayurveda, and each season is 2 months. And summer is something which is very hot, and most parts of India, we are slowly entering into summer. So, what all things, major things, okay, I'm going to touch which are the things which you have to follow in the summer season to stay healthy. Okay, so let's start. Okay, so summer. What happens in summer? Okay, you know that summers are very hot, the days are longer, and the sun is really shining very hot. So when it is very hot, okay, you have seen that every river or water body, okay, in this on this earth's surface slowly starts drying up. That means the sun is actually sucking, okay, nutrition. It is the Adana Kala or the Uttarayana, peak Uttarayana, where the sun is actually taking nourishment from the earth's body, also from our body. That's the reason why we say, the kapha actually goes down really bad. And when the kapha goes down really bad, your nourishment goes down really well. The vata also slowly starts getting accumulated. So this season is where, day by day, as the summer sets in, you get weaker and weaker because the kapha is basically going on and vata gets stronger. Okay, because in the next season when it rains, that is when the vata really goes up. So summer, it's very hot, days are longer, you are denourished, strength of your body is going down, and the heat is so much so that you should not indulge. The bottom line is you should not indulge in anything that will denourish you or increase the heat in your body. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. So what are the regimens which you have to follow? See, any season we say get up by sunrise. So normally, for a healthy person, it is good to get up in Brahma Muhurta, otherwise at least by sunrise. Attend to your nature's call, and then you can do Abhyanga. Okay, sesame oil is more than enough for you to do Abhyanga. Then bathing has been told in cold water. That means no need to boil water, no need of warm water. So this is basically for a healthy person. Okay, if you are sick and you have been advised to take bath in warm water, then it's a different thing. Otherwise, you should take bath in cold water. Okay, you can apply scented paste. Scented pastes are also supposed to be cooling. So chandana is a very, very, very good choice for you to apply on the body. Okay, and food should be snigdha. That means it should be oily. Plus lego, that means it should be oily and light. So the best choice for you would be ghee. Okay, it's not about frying in ghee. It is about when you're having food, you can add a little bit of ghee into it and make the food oily. Laghu, it should be light. Shita, it should be cold. Okay, so here when you note, snigdha, laghu, shita, there are a few things. One is milk is it is not that guru, so milk is something which is a very good choice. Ghee is actually a very good choice. Okay, so these two things you can consume during the summers. And day sleep is allowed, provided it's not that it's not mandatory, but if you feel tired, you go out in the sun, you are feeling really tired, you can actually take an afternoon nap. So afternoon nap is permitted during summers. Okay. And for drinking water, also cold drinking water, it is not only temperature wise, but you can add something into it to make the water cool. Normally, water is put in a matka, and people put vetiver, roots in the water, so it gets that smell. We don't normally boil it. Okay, that smell and the effect of the vetiver makes the water even more cooler. You can have that. Okay, so everything which will cool your system down is good for you. Okay, so since why one other reason why day sleep is allowed is because it is so hot. Even during the nights, it is warm, so your sleep might not be able to catch up with some good sleep. So if you feel tired during the day, you can actually take a small nap. Okay, now what all you have to avoid? Okay, salty, spicy, and sour foods. Okay, why salty, spicy, and sour foods? We know that everything is made of the Panchamahabhutas. Even taste, there are six tastes. Of the six tastes, every taste has got predominantly two Panchamahabhutas. Okay, but salt, spicy, and sour, all these three, one thing is common, that is Agni Mahabhuta. So since this has got Agni Mahabhuta and the season is also Agni predominant, these three tastes have been asked, to be avoided during the season. Exercise. Exercise, Vyayamam, okay. Patukattvamnas tejet, Vyayamas arkas tejet. Okay, Vyayama has to be avoided. That means exercise has to be avoided. So in those days, I'm telling you, when the text was maybe 2000, 2500 years back, when exercises were being done on a regular basis. But when it is summer, normally for every activity, they have to go out, they have to walk. So walking and activity used to happen on a daily basis. So, and this season is so hot that the body is denourished. So the acharyas asked you not to do anything extra in the form of exercise to denourish your body even more. Okay, so exercise has been contraindicated. But now, in these days, you'll notice that people are almost always sedentary. Okay, they are not moving around. If at all they have to go somewhere, they take the car or they take the bike or whatever. They're not active physically. So I would say in these days, in the summers, I want you to do only exercise, very, very mild. Don't push yourself and do extreme exercise. Do mild exercises on a regular basis. Sun exposure, arkas tejit, sun exposure has to be avoided. In the sense you can actually go into the sun early morning or late in the evening. Avoid, I would say, 11 to 4 sun. Okay, maybe even 10:30 to 4:30 sun. If you can avoid that, it will be actually good. Okay, no alcohol. Okay, madhyam na peyam. Alcohol is contraindicated during the summers. So if somebody is actually used to drinking alcohol, it is always good for them to drink light alcohol, or alcohol you dilute it by adding a lot of water and then drink. But by and large, no alcohol. Okay, intercourse. What happens with intercourse or sex is that you get tired, and you lose a lot of strength in the form of semen or whatever it is. So by and large, during this season, you have got very less energy, because see, if you look, availability of fresh food is not there, and because it is very hot, you will not feel like eating too much. You'll probably be drinking too much water. Your body automatically gets denourished. So exercise, that is vyayama, and sex, that is vyavaya. Okay, vyayama and vyavaya is contraindicated during summer. Okay, and heavy foods, never consume heavy foods. That takes a longer time to eat. You might not feel hungry. Okay, but in case sometimes you feel hungry, okay, go for snigdha, laghu, madhura bhojana. Okay, go for things which will actually digest pretty fast. Okay, you may start asking your questions. Okay, let us see what are questions you have got. Okay, so I've just given in brief what Ashtanga Hridaya has said about summer regimen. Other things, dinacharya, yes, getting up in the morning, oil application, brushing your teeth, gargling, all those things are still there. But what all things you have to slightly tweak? Dinacharya is dinacharya on a daily basis, right? But in the winter season, you're supposed to take bath in hot water. Here, you're supposed to take bath in cold water. So only things have changed a little bit in the dinacharya. Okay, depending upon the season. So if you've got questions, you can start asking. And the other day, Sunday, I was in Delhi, and just for a day, I had gone to meet one of my patients. Plus, I met a friend also. I met him. I went out in the evenings. Evenings was slightly cool, but it is not cool in other parts of India. It is getting very, very hot. So I want you to follow all these things to stay healthy. Okay. So if you have questions, you can ask. Any questions? Yeah. Okay. So, Francisco, I see that. I have 1 second. Okay. I have a question about what to do when there is seminal emission at night. So this is called nightfall. Okay. Which doshas aggravate in this case? It is basically apana vayu. Okay. Shukra artava shagun mota garbha nishkramana kriya. Shukra nishkramana kriya. That the process of expelling the semen is the uh, function of apana vayu. It is basically vata dosha. Okay. So when you do treatment also, you should do treatments to actually control that apana vayu. Okay. It is apana vayu. Okay, now question is what to do. Okay, so what to do is basically okay. Sorry, I missed that out. So you know, Japatri. Japatri is Jati ka, I don't know, mistina fragrance. You call what? What is that called? Mm, okay, it's Mystica fragrance. Okay, that's the botanical name. You see when you open it, you see a red colored webbed thing on top of the seed. That is called Japatri, Jati Patri. Okay, Jati Phala is a Sanskrit name. That Japatri, if you mix it with milk and have, it actually works really well for that. The person, I would say, it's always good for the person to do regular exercise, not overdo, but the person has to do moderate exercise. And one other reason could be the involuntary. Basically what happens is he doesn't know that there is being ejaculation happening at night. So strengthening the pelvic muscle is very important. Okay, and counseling is also important. We have got a lot of cases where we do a lot of counseling for that person, and medicines also work really well. Ashwagandha is something people feel it is aphrodisiac, but ashwagandha also works in this thing. But ashwagandha has to be actually given along with milk. You can give at bedtime also. This works very well. Okay, so bottom line, this is an apana vayu problem. Okay, vasti treatment for this is basically vasti. What are the food that are oily, light, and sweet? If you look at food which are sweet, oily, and light, ghee is oily, ghee is light, it is sweet also. One thing, okay. If you look at food, rice, okay, rice which has been cooked really well, and if you have taken the water, if you have strained the water out of it, that rice is not very heavy. And normally in Ayurveda we say rice has to be used only after 1 year. Okay, rice which is otherwise slightly heavier will become light. Okay, and when you cook it, when you strain the water out, it becomes even lighter. So if you mix ghee, rice, and dal. Okay, dal is also sweet. Dal is also legu. Rice is also sweet. Ghee is also sweet. So this is something which is very good for you. Milk also is good. Okay. Him, yes, I would say getting exposed to sun is very good as far as vitamin D goes. Okay, and mushrooms. In my opinion, mushrooms are actually good It's a good source of I think mushrooms are good source. Yes. So there are different kinds of mushrooms. Okay, you get mushrooms which grow in the dark, and you get mushrooms which grow under the light. The mushrooms which grow under the light are actually a good source of vitamin D. Okay, milk, as you know, all of us know that milk is also a good source of vitamin D. But provided you take all these things, you have to get exposed to sun. Minimum sun exposure should be there, and it is good health wise. People say that maximum UV radiation or that effect is there when you get exposed to the midday sun, but I would say I don't think you have to get exposed to the midday sun. Consistently get exposed to the early morning or late evening sun. Okay, let us not be in a hurry to increase the vitamin D by getting exposed to that severe sun, especially in summers. Okay. Kavita, if I sleep in the afternoon, I feel hungry after waking up. Sleeping in the afternoon delays your imposition, right? Yes, Kavita. It all depends upon what time after lunch or after food you go to bed. If you are somebody who sleeps immediately after lunch, then you will notice that you might not feel that hungry after getting up. But if you have your lunch and then you do some activity and then you feel tired, and then after 1.5 hours, 2 hours, you catch up with a good nap, you might wake up fresh and you might feel hungry. So sleeping immediately after food is the one that actually impairs your digestion. Not if you give it enough gap and then sleep. Okay, Kavita. Where I live at a spring, I do not have a kapha vikriti or prakriti, but I like to adopt a kapha reducing diet in spring to help my body cleanse a heavy kapha winter accumulation. Okay, is that a question, Kim? You think whether you should be adopting a kapha reducing diet? Yes, 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 yes. Okay. So it is always good for you to do a kapha accumulating diet and also a little bit of exercise, because spring is a time, when that is the time when the weathers are cool. You see that the body strength is slightly on the higher side. You can afford to do more exercise. You can do exercise, and even you can have a little bit of spicy food, because the kapha is there, it will balance it. So you can get into food and activity which will actually reduce the kapha kim. No problem. That's actually a good question. Okay. Uh, what are your thoughts about intermittent fasting? So I know it's very popular in the US. So intermittent fasting, I don't know whether it's a very new concept, but if you look at how we used to have traditionally in India, is we used to have a meal at 10:30 and then a meal at about maybe 6:30 in those days. But there are still people who follow that, and people are very healthy. So what happens after dinner at 6:30? Then the next meal is only at about 10:30 in the morning. So you have actually given it a long gap. But one problem with intermittent fasting right now is they have their dinner early because they feel that they have to have their dinner before sunset. But the problem is that they sleep extremely late, might be about 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock. So have your food at 6 o'clock and then you sleep only at 11. You know what happens after 2 hours? Your metabolism slowly starts kicking in. You feel like eating something. Okay. And if you don't eat, the metabolism that's kicked in will actually denourish your body. So I sometimes feel that the way we have picked only one part of it, having food probably midday and then having food before sunset. That's fine. Okay. But we also have to adopt the other part of it also. You have your food early, see that you sleep also early. Okay. In that way, intermittent fasting actually works, but not the other way around. That means you eat whatever you want to eat for about 5 6 hours and then or 10 hours and then give that gap of 14 hours. I don't think that is actually healthy. Okay. Give time for the food to digest before you consume the next food. Let me see what's the next question. Is buttermilk okay during spring and summer? Yes, Cynthia. Buttermilk in moderation is actually good in all seasons. It's not like curd. Curd is not good, in the spring, in the autumn, or even during what do you call, summer season. So 6 months of the year, you are not supposed to have curd. But buttermilk, because it is light, and it actually penetrates through all the channels. It is actually a very good option for you to have year or throughout the year. Okay, but don't overdo it. Just because it's good, don't overdo it when drinking too much of buttermilk. Okay, you can mix it with rice and have. Buttermilk, is buttermilk drying, doctor? Yes, buttermilk is slightly ruksha. Okay, it is slightly drying, but not very drying. It is also hot. It is not cold. People think buttermilk is cold. Buttermilk is not cold. Okay, it is light. Okay, it promotes digestion. It actually helps you feel hungry for the next meal also. Okay, so it is deepana pachana, both things. So it is a very, very, very good uh, option for you rather than going for yogurt, because yogurt has got a lot of restrictions. It is so heavy. You can't have it every day. You can't have at night. You can't have half of the year, and you should not have it without mixing with a lot of restrictions. But buttermilk, you can have it in moderation on a regular basis. But sometimes you also see that if you feel that you are not keeping very well, health, you can still have buttermilk. But what you do is you can process the buttermilk. You can heat the buttermilk, add a little bit of turmeric, a little bit of ginger, process the buttermilk, add a little of salt, and then you can have it. Okay. uh, in Kerala we call that murgari, but in up north people call that kadi. So you can have processed buttermilk. Kim, what does do deep cracks on the sides of the tongue indicate? The tongue also has a deep cracks from the center. Yeah, so many a times, if you have got coating on the tongue, it is because you have got indigestion, you have got ama and all those things very high. If your tongue is red, and then you probably feel that you've got more of pitta and it's got cracks, and that means, okay, absorption in the body is not happening really well, and the vata has gone up. There's very high chance that the person can also be constipated. So crack, when there is crack, it's always because of vata. Because of summer, if you're more under AC, how does this affect any prakriti person? How should you use AC cooler here in summer? Okay. See, normally I would say overexposure to AC also might not be good, because during the summer, naturally what happens, as I said, because of heat, you don't feel like eating too much, and you'll feel like drinking a lot of water. So this is a nature balancing you. You'll most people perceive, if you are not exposed to air conditioning, you'll perceive weight loss. Okay, you'll be denourished. That is nature's way of taking energy, and then during the visarga kala or the dakshinayana, it gives back energy. Okay, all plants and everything starts coming out fresh. So when you're always in the AC, you are not even getting exposed to summer, you are creating winter for yourself. So the effect of not feeling hungry and all those things will not arise. You will continuously keep on eating when you're in the AC room. Okay, so that's an artificially created winter for you. In my opinion, that is not a very good idea. Okay, but in places like Dubai, where you can't see Dubai and all, according to Ayurveda, if you look, when you look at Desha, okay, Anupadesha and Jangaladesha has been. Anupadesha is Kapadesha, Jangaladesha is Vatadesha. Pitta Desha has not been mentioned. In the sense, yes, Pitta Desha is there, but Pitta Desha is not inhabitable. Like deserts or volcanic places and all those things where extreme heat is there, you cannot, it's not inhabitable. So it doesn't make sense. What's happening is you have created 24 hours, 365 days, you are under air controlled environment. How much of health you will have is something which you have to think. What to do when there is excess anger while in summer? Excess anger is also excessive pitta or heat in the body. Excessive anger in any season, Francisco, I don't say it is good. But when it is in summer, it's even more bad. So it's always good to control your anger all season. Okay, and when I say controlling it, I don't mean that you have the anger and you hold it in. So I would say, you should be beyond anger. Okay, in the sense, why do you get angry? Because certain things irritate you, or certain things have not happened the way you want it to happen. That means things have not been in your control. And I openly say, the world is almost like that. You don't have any control over most of the things, and most people get stressed only for things where they don't have any control. So if you don't have any control, what is the point in getting stressed? And if you have got control, then you don't have to be stressed. You got it right. So getting angry not only in summer and any other season is bad. More so when you get angry in summer, it actually burns you out more. Okay. Him. See it all. When I consult, I tell my patients. I don't tell any of my patients to basically eat twice daily, because of the lifestyle they have got. They get up in the morning and they go to office, okay, and then they come back late in the evening, and then, so it all depends upon what kind of work you do. So when you're eating twice, okay, so for example, you're having 100 grams of breakfast and 100 grams of dinner. Okay, so I would tell them, you divide that. So totally 200 grams. Okay, so close to about 60 grams of breakfast, 70 grams of lunch, and 70 grams or whatever it is. So you can divide whatever you're having for twice. I would say you can divide into three, because when Ayurveda was written, or when all these things were, they were not under so much of stress, or they were not running behind a lot of things. A lot of energy was not being used, okay, thinking in so many directions. So what is happening is people get denourished when they have only their food at 10:30 and their food at 5:30. So I always tell them, to basically let us get a little bit adjusted towards the lifestyle right now. So I don't want you to force to eat only twice daily just because Ayurveda said that. You use your own yukti, and you in before Ayurveda came, there were a lot of yogis. They used to eat only once. Ayurveda said eat twice. Okay, for a bhogi, I would say eat thrice. But don't overeat. Wait for the food to get digested, and then eat properly in good intervals and get good rest, and then decent amount of exercise. I like all the fruits very much, but don't know which portion and at what time they should be consumed. Hemajja fruits are basically good, okay, and they you should one thing you should understand, that most of the fruits actually cool the system down. So it's always good for you not to consume in the evening or late in the evening. So you can finish it probably during the day, and since it is uncooked, it takes a little bit more time for it to digest. So don't probably mix it with your food when you're having. So if you want to have a fruit in the beginning of breakfast, and then probably continue with your breakfast, because your breakfast mostly might be cooked food. So have that fruit, and don't overeat the fruit. Okay, have a piece of fruit or the fruit. Okay, don't have a bowl of mixed fruits. Have one fruit, have your breakfast. Done. Okay, it gets digested properly. Next day, if you want to have, you can have another fruit and have your breakfast. Don't cut a lot of fruits, put in one bowl, mix everything, because we don't know how these fruits interact after going inside. So have it during the day. Okay, in the first part of your meal. Even lunch also is fine, but avoid during the evening and at night. Okay. Him, I don't understand that. Whatever it is. I heard Dashamula decoction can reduce swelling. Can you speak about this, like inflammatory swellings? Okay, this is becoming medical now. See, Dashamula is one of the best painkillers, for kind information. Okay, internally and also externally also. So Dashamula decoction, if a person has got swelling and pain, you can make Dashamula kashaya, and we do dhara. We pour on that joint, so you can see it works really well. And even for people who have got cough, okay, and after a point of time, you'll notice that when they start coughing, they'll start getting pain in the ribs on the sides, the flanks. The Shamula works fantastically there. You can actually give whatever medicine you want to give for cough. If you give the Shamula Kwatha as Anupana, or in the Shamula Kashaya, it works wonder. It is very good for all swellings and pains, inflammations also. So this is the way you can give it. Yeah, Cynthia. Yes, that's great. It's always good to make your own buttermilk at home. Many a times people add water into curd and make it buttermilk, but I would say that is only diluted curd. You add you or probably you churn the curd or the yogurt, take the butter out of it, and what remains is buttermilk or takra in Ayurveda. It is very healthy. PA. It's been 9 months that I've sprained my right foot. No fracture, got plaster for a month. A little pain persists. Soaking foot in warm water with chana increases the pain. Okay. So I would say, it's always good for you to go and consult an Ayurvedic doctor. He'll be able to help you out. Okay, and if you still have, I would say, if you feel that Sendha Namak is actually increasing the pain, then your what do you call, the inflammation is still there. Okay, so I would say it's always good for you to go and show a doctor, Ayurvedic doctor. He might be able to help you out. There are specific oils which we can use as dhara and all those things to remove that inflammation. Okay, can be taken care of, no problem. If you consume mangoes too much in summer, does that cause heat pimples during early rains? No, you need not have to wait till early rains. While in the summer itself, you'll start getting hot pimples all over the body, mostly soft places. It might sometimes be in the armpit, it might be also in the butt, or inside of the thighs. You'll start getting both because of the heat that it generates. Mangoes are extremely hot, and mangoes, when consumed in excess, are not very good for the eyes, also. Okay, so everything in moderation. You enjoy mangoes, but in moderation. In Mexico, where it is hot, they eat a lot of spicy food. Is it because it makes you sweat, which it turns cool? There are places in India also, like Andhra Pradesh, where people eat a lot of spicy food, especially during the summers. You have got this tender jackfruit, which is actually hot. They cut it into very small pieces, add mustard and all those things, and eat it. It's very, very, very spicy. So, Ayurveda does not say that you can do it, and if you look at recordically, medically, Andhra Pradesh is a places where people more where ulcers and stomach cancers and colon cancers are maximum. That is because they consume a lot of spicy food. Okay, so they might be probably, it's a part of their culture. But certain things what have changed of late, which I see in Andhra Pradesh, the people have stopped consuming that kind of ghee. Ghee neutralizes a lot of things. So I don't know what in Mexico what they consume along with it to actually cool the system down. But otherwise, it doesn't sit well with me. As far as Ayurvedic principles go, just because you sweat, for that, what normally in hot seasons in Kerala we drink hot water. Okay, we say Ushnam Ushnena Shante. The moment you drink hot water, you sweat a lot and you feel good. But the spicy thing, when it goes inside, it actually generates a lot of heat and it can dehydrate you. Okay, so might not be a good idea. If people who are used to it, it's fine, but let us not go and try that. Can we eat pickles in summer? Jayanti, yeah, if you want to eat pickle in summer, I think it will be always good if you eat fresh pickles rather than the pickles which have been stored. Pickling came because we didn't want to share. Okay, mostly the reason is that when you have got a produce, like might be mangoes, and if you want to give it out to all your neighbors and relatives and all those things, you'll not be able to probably make a pickle. So in those days, they used to eat fresh, and somehow suddenly, if the produce is very high, they didn't want it to get spoiled, so they used to pickle it so that they have it during the seasons where they don't get it. Now pickling has become, they add oil into it, they add spicy, chili powder and all those things. Initial pickling was only in salt. Okay, so that it does not get spoiled. Okay, you can also have it during the off season. So in my opinion, having spicy pickles in summer is not good. Patu kattu amla stage it. Avoid salt, okay, spicy and sour food, during summers. So this is salty and spicy, right? Not very good. Okay, it is Vasanta, Sharat, and Grishma Ritu. Spring, autumn, and Grishma is summer. Okay, according to Ashtanga Hridaya. What is the best method to make buttermilk? Jayanti, boil milk really well. Okay, really well. In the sense you wait for it to really come up, let it go down a little bit. One or two times it goes, all the water actually escapes. So once it is, so what normally people do is people also keep on stirring the milk when they boil it, so that on top of the cream layer doesn't come. And then once it boils really well, leave it for some time till it cools down to warm. It's not completely cold. At that time you add a little bit of curd into it, mix it really well, and keep it. So when you keep it for some time, maybe 12 hours or so, you'll see that slowly it starts getting thickened. And if you leave it for more than 18 hours, it slowly starts becoming sour, because yogurt is dadhi amlam. Okay, it is sour, and it is guru and ushnam. So it is heavy, it has to be slightly sour. If it is not sour, what happens is you churn it also, you might not be able to actually get butter. So you wait for it to slightly become sour, it becomes thick. Then you can actually use a mixer, or you can churn it. Butter comes out of it. Okay, it comes and floats on top. That because you're churning it, you're breaking it. Fat comes. That fat is butter. Once that butter is removed, what remains is buttermilk. Hope it's clear, Jayanti. What can be done about stones in the gallbladder? See, this is something which is very, very, very difficult to manage. Okay, even though yes, treatments are there, but we sometimes find that it is not very, very, very successful medicines. The reason is that, so liver is the thing which actually you know neutralizes every food or every toxin, everything you consume. So it is self protective. So any medicine you take, we normally doesn't penetrate into the liver, Francisco. So any medicine, if you feel like, if you have got a stone in the kidney, you take a medicine, it breaks the kidney stone because the medicine gets there. But if you give, even if it is, even if it is the same stone also, if you give the same medicine, it refuses to penetrate into the gallbladder. Okay, gallbladder stones are mostly, they come up because of wrong metabolism. So most of the times, if it is a small stone, yes, there are medicines, it breaks sometimes. But if the stone has become large, it is very difficult to remove it. You have to surgically, if it gets infected, then you have to surgically remove the gallbladder. Okay, this is because the liver is designed in such a way that it is very difficult for medicines to penetrate through it. Ha, me too. But we should not mix cooked food and uncooked food in a single meal, right? Okay. Uh, yes, I would say so. If you're eating salads, don't mix salad with your rice, which is cooked, and eat. That's all they meant, by mixing uncooked food and cooked food. Okay. Research says fruit gets digested pretty fast within half an hour. I'm not pretty sure about it. But normally, what happens is most of the fruits are sweet. Okay, and because it's uncooked, it is guru. So I would say it's always good for you to eat it in the beginning, and as much as possible, don't try to peel the fruit. Eat the fruit along with the peel rather than making a juice out of it. So you can chew the fruit really well and eat, then continue with your food. Okay, other thing, Kavita, I'm not very sure about the research. I sleep at 1:30 a.m. I'm getting hungry after taking medication for the few days. What can I eat before sleep? Now I am having ghee. See, Subhash, you sleeping at 1:30 itself is bad. It might be because of your work. Okay. I'm not sure. You might be working late night. But late night staying up till 1:30 consistently for a few years will actually make you sick. Period. Guaranteed. Okay. So I would say, I can't tell you to resign. I would say it's always good for you to find a job where you can wrap up at about 10 o'clock and go to bed. Okay. So it's always good for you. See, you have your dinner and then about by 1:30, you'll definitely feel hungry. So eating before sleep, I would say you can probably drink a little bit of milk. Okay. That will help control the vata. But long run, you are going against nature. It will slowly catch up with you, Subhash. Okay. Ghee fine. Ghee mix ghee with milk and have no problem. Recovered from a broken patella. Okay. But still have some pain. Would Dashamula, yes, I would say, since it's a fracture and a, Dashamula Kashayam need not be given. I think, oil application would be the best thing for you, Cynthia, here. And pouring oil, one thing you can do, or what you can do is you can take a cloth, okay, a piece of cloth, dip it in Dhanvantaram Tailam, Dhanvantara oil, heat the oil, dip the cloth, and you can actually leave it on your patella for about maybe 40-45 minutes in the evening. Remove the cloth, then gently rub the oil in circular motion into your knee, and then you can go to bed. Okay, what happens is slowly that joint will start getting that area. Okay, fractured area will start getting nourishment. Okay, it's a slow process but a sure process. Yeah, Cynthia, oil would be a better choice. So pickling previously was just fermenting, like putting amla and salt and spice water for a few days. Yes, so it's not fermenting, it was just putting salt is actually a very good preservative. So you any mango also, if you just put it in salt water, it stays. It doesn't stay for long. It stays for some time. So pickling was only trying to preserve that fruit because you had it in excess, or you didn't want to share it with anybody. Okay. So that's why everything, fish also, sometimes you see why do people dry fish it. Drying fish, putting salt and drying fish is also a kind of pickling. You go out in the sea, sometimes instead of catching 10 fishes, you might have caught 100 fishes. You will not know what to do it. They slice it into pieces, they apply salt, and they dry it in the sun, and then later they cook it and eat it. So that's also kind. Pickling is basically trying to preserve the fruit or whatever it is, the produce. So it is not as good as a fresh one, but good enough. Okay, but when you start adding masalas and spices and chili and oil and all those things, then you are focusing more on the taste. Okay, and that taste is also not healthy if you consume it in excess. No, I think, yeah, you can also have oil. There's something called Dhanvantaram 101 times potensified oil. You can consume Dhanvantaram 101 oil internally. It will actually help you, but external application would be more than enough, is what I feel. You can try it. If it doesn't work, then probably we can think of something internal. Okay. Yeah. Oh, thanks. Okay, most welcome. How to know what is the best quality of ghee? There are a lot of tests which people have done, iodine test and all those things for you to make up, but otherwise I would say it's always good to trust the source, Rohit. If you know who is giving you ghee, and you know for sure that he's not going to give you adulterated ghee, that would be the best ghee. And because if you ask, if like paneer and all those things, people have started using iodine to find out whether it is true, pure or not. It is it is just a matter of time where people will work around that, and they might make artificial paneer which will not react to the iodine also. See, people are smart, so the best way is, you know if you have got a cow at home, that is the best thing. If you have got a cow, the neighbor has got one, or somebody whom you know has got one, give from that source. You can depend on that and have it. Okay. Is it better to eat a raw salad with lettuce before a meal, or to finish the meal? Raw salads are often served with dinner here. Okay. I would say, I'm not very comfortable eating raw salads, especially at night. So even during the day, what I would say is, if you can steam cook and have the same salads, it will be okay. But if that's the only thing which you have got at night, then you can have it, no problem. But Ayurveda very clearly says that, you can't have leafy, only you can't eat only leafy vegetables, not good. That means if you're having only lettuce as a salad for dinner or something, Ayurveda says it's not good, so it's always good to have something else also. Steam cooked, in my opinion, would be a good choice. But otherwise, skim, just work around it, have it before your meal, at least, and then have some carbs or something to actually top it up and finish it. But fruit is also uncooked, so it's okay to eat fruit first and follow up with cooked food. Yeah, Kavita, Ramesh, most parts of the world eat uncooked fruits, but there are people who also eat cooked fruits. Like in Kerala, our banana is always cooked. You know, the big banana, Nendram, the Kerala banana. We prefer. Even today for breakfast, I had a piece of cooked banana. And if you look in old cultures, like even in Europe, people eat cooked apples. They call it stewed apple, if I'm right. So cooking fruit and eating was a custom. Guavas people cook and eat. People cook because when you cook something, it becomes lighter and becomes easier to digest. Okay, especially when we give for children, we cook and start giving them so that slowly they get used to it. Okay, so if you're eating something uncooked, have it in the beginning and then you can have your cooked meal. Okay, but avoid during the night. It's okay to cold shower in the head at night in summer or winter. Winter, absolutely not. And I would say, at night, I would not ask you to take a head bath, pouring oil on the head, because any day you take, it could be summer or winter, nights are cooler than the day. Okay, so that could actually lead to congestion. So avoid taking a head bath at night. And when it is winter, you can take a bath, but let it be warm water rather than cold water. Okay. And when you're taking a bath at night, also don't take a bath immediately after food. Not good. Wait for some time, or you can have the shower before your food and then eat your food. Yeah, Jayanti, my thoughts in the sense, that is a kind of pickling, in the sense you are preserving it for so that you can consume it some other day, right? So the quality of it is definitely not going to be as good as when it is fresh, but that is a way in which you preserve it. So what people say is, when I'm preserving it, I'm only the water is getting evaporated. We feel that when something is being dried, only water goes. It's like, when you drink a lot of water, you feel, I'm feeling really clean. Same thing happens, when water goes, there might also be, dissolved micronutrients which are also escaping from it. Big things, major large nutrients, macronutrients might not go, but micronutrients will definitely escape along with the water. So it's a good way to pickle it, but Fresh is always best. Had more to do with concept of not combining raw food with cooked food. So eating a raw salad first might be better than after the meal, even though still not ideal. Yes, I would say, we are not actually mixing both. We are having raw salads, and we are having cooked and uncooked meal, uh, food during the same meal, right? So that ideally it's not good. But if you are having it, you have the uncooked food first and then follow it with the cooked one, because uncooked basically takes needs more agni for it. So you have that and then continue with the cooked one. But if possible, stick only to uncooked or cooked. Is coconut oil too cooling and therefore not recommended to pacify Vata dosha? See, the reason why coconut oil does not pacify Vata dosha too much is not because it is not very cool. Okay, it is cold, but it is not extremely cold. But one thing, the reason why it does not pacify Vata dosha too much is because it is not as lubricating. We call snigdha. It is not as lubricating as other oils. Okay, it is cool. Yes, I do agree. It is not as lubricating. That is one reason why it does not pacify vata too much. And if you apply coconut oil on the body, you will not feel as if you have applied oil. That's the reason why sesame oil is considered to be the best oil for vata. Okay, it is ushna. It is also guru. Okay, and it is vyavai, that means spreads very fast. Okay, it can get into, and one thing about sesame oil is that samskarat sarvarogajit. That means if you add samskarat, means by cooking, or that means by medicating it. You add any herb into it and try medicating a sesame oil, you can convert it into anything for any disease. That means it by and large it will not retain its original property, but it will the herbs which you add into it will take over, and you can convert that oil into curing any disease. That's why sesame oil is good. Okay. Is non-vegetarian, no, non-veg, when you look at in summer, they have told jangala mamsa. Jangala mamsa means, basically jangala mamsa is lean meat. That means meat from the jungle. That is fine. So but not the anupa mamsa, or the one which grows, because these are all fattening and very difficult to digest. So if at all you want to consume meat, they say go for lean meat, that too in small quantity. No, no, no. Coconut oil is not drying. You got me wrong. Coconut oil is not drying. Coconut oil does not have too much of lubrication. It lubricates, but it does not have too much of lubrication. So normally we don't use it to apply on the body. On the hair, yes, because coconut oil is very good for hair. Okay, so we use it for applying on the head. But for the body, we normally prefer sesame oil as the base, because it has got more lubrication than coconut oil. Okay. Uh, in emergency cases, yes, but otherwise, not as a general rule. I would not recommend you doing nasyam at bedtime before going to bed. Okay, because when you put nasyam, that means you this whole area is kapha place, and you're putting nasyam into it so that the kapha gets removed. So you put the nasyam into it at night, and your kapha slowly gets you know uh, dislodged, and then before it is come, and you'll have to wait for long for it to come, and the nights also becomes cool, so it does not come out, and then you go to bed and sleep. Okay, that sleep actually increases the kapha a little bit more. So I would not recommend, if there isn't an emergency, I would not recommend you to do nasya at night before going to bed. It's always good to do it during the day when it is not. So after the sunrise, maybe about 10 o'clock or so, or before the sun really goes up, maybe about 3:30 or 4. Okay. So with that, oh, it's almost an hour. So with that, we come to an end. Okay, today's session, we'll meet up next week with another topic. Okay, namaste, good night. Last question: how long should I wait or eat or drink anything after Nasya? I would say ideally wait for at least an hour, hour and a half before you eat or drink anything. Okay, you can probably, if you feel like drinking something, little bit of hot water is fine, but don't drink something which will cool your system down. Okay, okay. Good night. Namaste.